objects.
Really?
Great.
Put it up against another.
And then,
Yeah,
in
I
school,
remember.
It was
It's not even the shape.
Negative.
Mentally ill. Mentally
Did
insane.
a special effects agency. We are back here, Clerc podcast show. Time to get some new headphones. Mine are going out here, like David said. It's time for some new ones. We are in a new studio, though. This is a new room in the Bark. Actually, we should give a little advertisement here. If you'd like to rent this room, Bark of Wyndham, Minnesota, it's available.
Yeah.
Soundproof.
Soundproof.
It's got some good acoustics in it.
Well, you'll get a serial killer down here if you tell him it's soundproof.
Nice beige walls.
It does have some nice decorative features. You get the lion,
I was gonna say the lioness over there.
the lion and the lioness.
Some nice
yeah.
glasswork behind
Glasswork
me.
here.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
you have a
so-
safari club. There's a zebra in the corner
You
over
get this
there.
beautiful mahogany table, just a beautiful wood table here, Damon handcrafted.
Handcrafted with a plane and some sandpaper.
Yeah,
And you also get your option between short chairs or tall chairs.
yeah. We have the tall ones
Go with
here.
the tall chairs.
If you want the
That's
short
it.
ones, you're just kind of, eye level with the top of the table, but not that low. But
And now all the listeners who really like us are still tuned in.
yeah,
All ready to go.
exactly. Thanks for listening through that big episode 69. Make sure you subscribe, leave a review, like the podcast. We are here every Thursday, and it's good to be back. Got to give a mention to a fan of the podcast, Tony from San Pedro, California. Actually started his own podcast, and it's called San Pedro Paranormal. They were saying Pedro. I don't know if maybe we're totally slaughtering. Maybe I'm totally slaughtering how you pronounce
yeah.
it.
Minnesota
I'm
accent.
gonna guess Tony knows.
Yeah, Tony probably knows. Yeah. San Pedro Paranormal. And so they just talk about, he said they're going to be doing reviews of like paranormal movies, how realistic they are. They're going to be talking about their experiences. They're going to be bringing up their audio that they've captured. And I would love to talk to Tony, get him on a phone call interview for the podcast.
Yep.
Obviously, we're not going to go out to California. Maybe he'd come here. But we could get him and talk more about his show. But I will leave a link to that.
Yeah, episode 1's out now.
Episode
right?
1's out now, so definitely, if you haven't checked that out, which a lot of people probably don't know about it because it's brand new, go check that out. And I got to give a shout out to somebody because we've had a lot of guests come on the podcast and say they're going to go forward with it. But
Yeah.
I think once they kind of look into it, they realize how much of a daunting task it is, and all the equipment and
Yep.
the research, and then keeping it going after you start is tough. So
And that's why I
We
said
even
it's-
stopped for a while.
yeah,
That's why I said it's awesome to see him jump into it.
Yeah.
Or anyone jump into it and
yep.
checked out.
Like
it
you
and
said,
it's
do a
good.
couple test ones and, tread some water until you know what you're doing. And then, we're always figuring stuff out too, where it's not like we're the pros here.
No.
We're just learning as we go. Yeah. Mailbag, though, Jeff Vanderwerf left a cool comment on the video from last week. We talked about Kobe Bryant. We talked about Minnesota being the last 3.2 state. And we talked about that police officer from Waseca, Minnesota. And I actually read today that he got out of intensive care, so he's doing better, recovering. So that's great. But Jeff's comment was...
Yeah, what'd Jeff have to say?
Jeff said, where we lived in Louisiana, there were alcohol drive-through places, meaning you could drive up, get a cold daiquiri or a margarita, then drive off. And then parentheses, you could also get a six-pack and so forth. Presumably, it was still illegal for the driver to drink, but their passengers certainly could. So I didn't know Jeff
Hey,
lived in
down in
Louisiana.
Iowa,
Yeah, he lives
down
in
in,
Louisiana.
what is it, Ethan? Fort Dodge. They have that
Yeah.
drive-through liquor store.
Yep, drive-through liquor store.
yeah.
I didn't know you could get like a margarita.
That's where Duck Dynasty's at too. I think down in Louisiana. We were talking about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Drive up and get a margarita.
Yeah. We should ask Jeff if he ever did drive through and get anything.
I wonder if you still can.
Yeah.
Because you looked
now
up
he's
the
in New
one
York.
state.
Oh yeah, we should add to that. The
Yeah.
one state Mississippi's the only state that has nothing with the driver where you can have an open container. All the other states that we looked up, and I don't remember, 8 or 9 or 10 that you could have no open container laws. It was the passengers. So
The passengers
it'd
could
be
still.
tough to enforce. I think Jordan was
Yeah.
saying that too. Like,
Yep.
well, here, take this. Like, unless you. So
Yeah. To me, it's still crazy. And
That's probably the only reason Jeff moved out of Louisiana. I'm sure. That.
yeah. Hey, we have been in New Orleans a couple times. It's a beautiful place. I don't know where Jeff lived in Louisiana, but
I think he lived in the swamps. I think he did.
Oh, really? Way
like,
down in there.
Yeah, he did
Some
a lot of
gator hunting?
He did gator hunting, I think. On
that's
the side.
awesome.
We
No,
gotta
he
get
didn't live in the swamps. He was working.
We
on
gotta
the
get a gator hunter on the podcast.
Yeah.
Jeff, Gator Hunter Jeff. That was cool, though. I thought that was a good comment. Another person left a comment talking about Kobe and how it hit them hard. And it just reminds you there's a lot of people that, especially in Los Angeles, that were really affected by the Kobe passing away, which seems crazy. But to them, to a lot of people, Kobe was like top of the line, this hero, this big guy, and I don't think anyone's going to lie. He was definitely a legend in basketball, but it hits people different. Some people were actually like emotionally affected by Kobe dying. Our friend Hunter was really like crying over it and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, very much into Kobe, and like it just makes you think, wow, some people really look up to these people, these celebrities, and even though you don't know them, they really mean something to you.
Well, I'd say that's good for your friend Hunter because that's like showing like empathy towards.
Yep.
Like even if you don't know the person, you're related to maybe something or like a situation that like a lot of people I know across their mind. I'm assuming she doesn't have any kids or
no,
married
not yet.
And
Not
like
yet.
if they think of their kids and stuff and relate it there too, and that's why they're getting sad. And we were watching the Waste Management Open in Arizona, and a lot of people were playing tributes by that's the 16th hole. I don't know if you ever heard it.
No.
They have it's one of the big like rowdy golf tournaments where they set up grandstands on the 16th hole, and you could see all the players like the ones that were playing tribute to him. And one of my favorite golfers, Tony Finau, wore like a Kobe.
Oh, really?
doing it,
That's
too.
awesome. I've been seeing a lot of really cool tributes, and it's still making headlines. People are still talking about it. They're still looking into it and trying to figure it out. And who knows if we'll ever get the actual answer of what happened. But, just sad thing. I do got to bring up this week is Fuzz Talk Radio, our first official Ethan Clerc show.
Tomorrow night, right?
No, Friday night.
What are we gonna kick it off with?
I don't know which one Fuzzy's gonna do. He's gonna mix them up and throw an old one
Did
in
you
there.
just send him a bunch or what?
Yep.
No.
And then he'll be
Is he
doing.
gonna produce them up? He's gonna cut them down.
I don't know if he's gonna
You gotta find that out.
Yeah, I haven't-
fakes, and we're gonna say whatever.
Yeah.
cut our words together
It's
here.
gonna be like 3 podcasts in one.
Yeah. We'll be talking about Kobe, and then we'll be talking about the pyramids, and then
Yeah.
we'll be talking about dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's what we all talk about all the time.
exactly, yeah. Tomorrow night, or not? Well, I guess this comes out Thursday. Yeah, so tomorrow night, Friday night, at 8 p.m. Fuzzy will be posting. It was 8, I'm pretty sure, if I remember right. And I don't want to get the time.
Yeah, it's
wrong.
gonna snow on Friday, so just stay in.
Stay in, listen to
your
the
favorite
podcast.
beverage or make some food.
Now I can't remember if I said at 8 p.m. Okay, and then every Friday, on the or every Friday at 7 after. I wrote February 7th at 8 p.m., but every Friday at 7 after.
Yeah, we got up right away,
Yeah.
before it even the
Yep.
ratings came out.
Yep.
So we moved up a spot to 7.
And I don't know if we're gonna like release these here on Thursday and then they'll go there on Friday. But I thought we'd start off with doing a couple throwback episodes, and then if we need to, we can release these on there. But
I thought maybe you'd be doing some editing and cut those hour ones down to a half hour and just
Yeah.
like the brilliant.
well, I think we actually
sound
he
bites.
wants an hour long.
Oh.
Yeah, he wants like an 8 to 9. So if we're doing the new half an hour ones, he's gonna have to use 2 of them.
Okay.
So we'll find out tomorrow
You're
night.
going to hear welcome back to the Ethan Clerc podcast show twice in a night.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
Welcome.
yep.
And we're gonna have to shoot some real promos where we're not like, "Hi, this is the
Yeah,
Ethan Clerc
we're
promo."
all tired and stuff. One of the first topics I wanted to start this week off with was the coronavirus is going around.
And this is a big surprise. Ethan would not tell us what the topics were tonight.
Yep,
so-
yep.
Yeah,
this
Damon and
is
I have no clue.
I got 2 main topics if you want to call them. This is like the first main one, the coronavirus. And no, we're not talking about the famous beer you put a lime in.
Yep.
Although I wish we were, because it is a good beer.
That is, yeah. You have a neon.
Yeah, I do. I love Corona. We are talking about the dangerous coronavirus. Do you guys know anything about it before we get into it too much?
From what I've seen in the news.
What do you know about it? Tell me what you know. Just
I know that
I'm
it's-
curious, like what the general. I mean, me too,
I
because
hear
I
that,
didn't know
that
much.
it's very contagious.
Yep.
You mind if I go, Colin? It's
Yeah, I don't even really know too much about
He thought it was still the beer we're talking
Yeah, he
about.
thought
No, I knew it wasn't that.
he
but-
thought everyone was calling Tony Romo like his medical advice. But it's very contagious, and a lot of times over there, I'm talking about China because that's where the outbreak was.
Yep.
There were a lot of people always wear masks for pollution and like viruses and stuff. So airports are shutting down. They're testing everyone's temperature coming from port to port.
Yep.
Flights have been shut down from the United States, Delta flights over to
Yep.
there, and it's very easy to catch. I don't know what it's compared to like the flu because the flu still kills thousands of people a year. And,
Yeah.
the other thing is they're reporting numbers on who's getting it, and they're thinking they might be reporting a little low. One of the I don't know if you want to say coolest things, but amazing things was I saw on the news that they decided to put up like a triage hospital in China. And they in 2 weeks, they built a brand new triage place.
Really?
And I don't remember the city that it was in, but like all the bulldozers that were there, and like you couldn't do that in United. I mean, you could get the manpower probably to do it in the United States, but you have to get all the permits.
Yep.
And they're throwing this place up right next to like apartments and,
Oh,
and
really?
like houses. You're like, well,
Oh my
wonder what the
gosh.
runoff's going to be like. But, so I hope they can contain it. I don't know anything about a cure or anything, or like what kind of strand it is. Like, but
Yeah.
maybe you'll tell us, Ethan.
Well, I know a little bit
Colin
about
might.
it.
I don't know. I'm no doctor over here.
It's definitely right now, I think, the top trending topic because of a lot of things that are going on. People, I know the other governments around the world are extremely mad at China because of the way that they've handled it. They before they were able to contain it, a lot of people got out of China. And so now it's already in the United States, it's already in Britain, it's already in all these other countries, and apparently the Chinese government didn't do a whole lot about stopping it until these other countries were complaining. So we have a little news report to kind of get us into it here before I spit too much, Colin. That's on there. If you find it,
Is it this one?
what is it called?
Another group.
I mean, I bought a
Yep,
huge
that's the
thing
one.
of hand sanitizer. I mean, I work with kids, and
Yeah.
everyone's coughing and
Well, we got to worry about
Picking their
influenza B around
noses
here.
and- oh, yeah.
Influenza B. Here it is.
grocery store, coughing their
Zoning
hands, grabbing the
China
bags.
Yep.
Back to the U.S. And China is now coming under harsh criticism for the way it's handling that rapidly spreading coronavirus. Remy Inocencio reports tonight from Beijing.
After an agonizing wait to be evacuated from Wuhan, the second group of Americans was screened on the ground before boarding the converted cargo plane. Priscilla Dickey is one of them.
Looking forward to.
Can you see it all right, Damon?
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't seen her in 5 years, so.
The flight will land in California, where passengers will be quarantined for 14 days. More State Department flights with evacuees will land at March Air Reserve Base and 4 other air bases. These include Camp Ashland in Nebraska, near a national quarantine center and biocontainment unit. Authorities are instituting a tough approach to contain the virus here. Social media posts show that this woman
People are punching each
is
other
said
in the
to have been
airport there.
arrested
Yeah.
in a grocery store
Look at
for
this one.
refusing to wear a mask. This house was locked by authorities with the family inside.
They're going hard in China.
Goes on here. A woman infected with coronavirus gave birth to a healthy baby girl in northeast China. The mother is in stable condition and the baby has tested negative.
Wow.
And most Chinese foreign nationals have now been banned from about 10 countries. That includes the United States. And a Chinese representative told the World Health Organization that all those measures are an overreaction. Nora?
All right, Remy, thank you.
See, they're kind of the way that they're talking about it is almost like they're undermining the seriousness of
Yeah.
it. And I don't remember, like you said, Damon, the exact number, but I think it was over like 7,000 people in China were affected by it. And in the United States,
That's
we have
gone up since I've heard.
Yeah, and in United States, there's 12 cases confirmed, and there's a couple in New York that they're still looking into. And I know that one of the guys just came back negative today or tonight, and so they're looking in. But you're right, Damon. It's extremely contagious. Like they said, it started in Wuhan, China. Someone who has it can pass it from 1.4 to 2.5 people, is what I read on the one of the websites there. And hundreds of Americans who recently traveled to China are being quarantined for 14 days until they can actually narrow down.
That SARS was a big outbreak, and it looks like it's gotten to a higher level than that. Do you remember SARS at all? I don't remember how far back.
SARS.
That was something back in China. I'm just looking up real quick now. It looks like, because I'm always interested in like where it comes from. It's usually from an animal.
Yep.
I think maybe like a bat. It's saying
Really?
Hey, what are
That's
the side effects?
always tired, like you are.
Is that actually what it is?
No, I don't know.
I'm trying to think what the side effects were of it. I know that they're like, I've seen pictures and stuff, like the people that have it are like in tents and stuff,
Well,
like
it's
everyone around them
deadly,
is
yeah.
it's extremely deadly. I'm pretty sure. I shouldn't go forward with saying that 100%. I'm not exactly sure about it. I don't think we have anything to worry about here.
No, if you're having seizures, severe diarrhea, ear pain, swelling, drainage, fever, chills, cough, yellow-green mucus, stabbing, chest pain, that would be a good stabbing chest pain to be. So
That's the coronavirus
that's the
symptoms, side
coronavirus,
effects?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
How's a
Oh
virus
no, wait,
like
that's
that
the
start
that's
up?
the rotavirus.
Roto?
My yeah. This is
Hey, how's a virus like that start up?
Like Damon said, it came from an animal, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I will look up the coronavirus numbers here while Damon's looking that up. We should really we need laptops here at all times so we always get the right information. Coronavirus.
But, you look at it and, like, the flu is also a very scary thing. And that's just, a lot of people die from, I'm not downplaying this virus, but a lot of people that, you get your flu shot, and the flu shot this time around, it can't protect you from, like, the different strains. They just keep mutating and mutating and mutating, becoming stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yep.
And not to get everyone worried, but
yeah,
there's a lot of research that goes into the flu shot, and I think this one covered 60% of the strains out there, maybe.
Yeah, and I have horrible information here. The coronavirus numbers are going astronomically high. If you look at the chart here within the past couple days, they're now up to 28,000 cases with 3,863 of them in critical condition. 565 people have already died, and 1,100 people have already been recovered.
So now it's about containing.
Yeah,
and,
it's about
recuperating.
Yeah, it's about stopping it from reaching more people, and it looks like a majority of the people are in China. It looks like majority Japan, Singapore, Thailand, South Korea, Hong Kong.
This reminds me of I shouldn't phrase it that way, but there was a game on an app that you download, and it was a virus game, and the goal was actually to start viruses in the world.
Really?
And have them outbreak, and I don't remember what it was called. Like you'd pick different strands and put them together, and then
it kind of sounds to me like a zombie outbreak.
Yeah.
Like when you talk about people getting affected from other people.
What was the huge virus before this one? That was it E. coli or
Ebola.
Well,
Ebola
was big.
Yeah,
E. coli is a pretty common.
Yeah,
one.
Ebola is if you eat raw eggs.
Yeah, but I know that Ebola, like you said, Damon, was that was a
Ebola,
huge
that's what
one.
it is.
Ebola monkey.
Is that what it started from? A monkey?
I'd wager. So yeah.
I'm pretty sure that I read somewhere that the coronavirus came from a camel or something.
Oh, maybe a camel or a bat. I might have just thought bat.
Yeah,
too.
maybe it was bat. I'm not. Is it usually from the feces gets into
would think
something,
so,
and then that's how a lot of things seem to start. Which
Well,
is
it's funny
crazy.
how things pick up on things too, because Ebola and you heard a lot about it, and now I guess we're hearing a lot about it. Certain people say different things about the different viruses, but
No, I get what you're saying. You heard about it all one day, and all of a sudden
Ebola
it was gone.
Ebola was one because that wasn't that long ago. So we remember Ebola was probably
When was that,
2016, 17.
Was it? Yeah, around
a
there.
few years ago.
And then
All the media coverage.
Yeah.
All the media coverage. And we
borders
should.
were immediately shut down.
Yeah,
and this
we should follow this one a little bit better and see
This
how
one we're
quickly.
in negotiations with China, so
Yeah. We should see how quick though this disappears, because I feel like a lot of
Hopefully it does.
I don't know, I shouldn't say they're trying to scare people, but we overreact a lot when our country has 12 people out of 300 million people affected. It's not, way more people die every
and
year
on
from
that
the
point
flu.
that you just said the flu. Yeah.
Yeah, the flu is going that's what people should be worried about right now. The flu is really going around. I thought I had it today.
Oh yeah, I felt like I had a little bug the whole off and on all week. Just part of it wants to get me, just down vitamin C and zinc and.
Well, I've had a sore throat and a really bad one, and so I went tonight. I went to the doctor and just to check if I had strep.
He's telling
Nothing.
me just now.
No,
I walk in the room, I shake his hand.
I'm not even. I'm not even sick. I tested negative for strep, so you're safe for me.
thanks.
But I don't know.
I
had us worried, Ethan.
Yeah, my bad. So I don't know. We'll have to follow the coronavirus, and hopefully they can contain this. And to me, 14 days in containment's pretty crazy.
Yep.
That sounds like something out of a movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like outbreak movie.
we talked about literally like a zombie outbreak movie. We talked about this next topic. We didn't talk about it, actually. We were gonna talk about it. Let me see if I can get one of you guys. Well, Colin, you weren't there. Damon was there. Adam was there. We were going to talk about it with Mr. Hansen, Eric Hansen, when he was on. It was episode 42.
What did we talk to Eric Hansen about that night?
What we ended up talking about and what we were going to talk about, completely different.
Oh.
What we did talk about that night was school shootings.
Oh yeah, because he works in the school.
Yep. What we were going to talk about was something local, Minnesota, St. Paul area. Do you remember? Is it?
Oh boy, I should, huh?
Is it?
Some call.
Huh?
911 call.
That's part of it.
We're gonna talk about a serial killer.
Yep, the Weepy-Voiced Killer.
Sure.
We don't have very many serial killers here in Minnesota, but we have.
We talked about him a little bit on one other one.
Did we talk about? We might have brought him up
Maybe
on the one with Chad or whatever.
Yeah.
42, episode 42. We were going to talk about the infamous Weepy-Voiced Killer, Paul Michael Stefani, who ended up passing away in prison, but ended up admitting to all of his horrible crimes, and he is infamously known as the Weepy-Voiced Killer. And this happened from 1980 to 1982. So maybe you remember hearing something about this, Damon.
I don't.
Nothing?
No.
Nothing about it. Gosh, why?
Still somewhat young.
They weren't talking about serial killers a lot back then?
Oh, maybe they were.
Gosh,
I was right about G.I. Joe and
okay, it's good right there. So this whole thing starts on December 31st, New Year's Eve. Stefani, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. Paul Michael Stefani.
Can I stop you for 1 second?
Yeah.
This is in Minnesota?
Yep.
Okay.
This is in
Up in the cities, right?
Yep, they happened. He actually killed people on both sides of the river, the St. Paul side and the Minneapolis side. You know, and we don't really have any, like, I shouldn't say famous, but we don't have any, like, well-known serial killers really from Minnesota. They're all from Wisconsin or Illinois has a lot. I know Wisconsin's got some of the most popular ones, you know, but Illinois has a lot of popular ones too. But we just have one guy here, Paul Michael Stefani. And so it started on New Year's Eve, 1980. He beat Karen Potok in St. Paul, severe brain injury, skull cracked. It says she survived, which I'm not actually sure if that's correct. I don't think she did survive. I don't know why I wrote that. But it's go to the phone call column. We'll play that to start off here. I'll get that information if that's right or wrong here. He called, though, the police after he did it. That's what he was known for, calling the police.
That's how he got his moniker,
That's how he got,
nickname.
Because he felt bad for himself.
And I'm going to say, I don't think he does feel bad for himself.
No.
I couldn't help it. Don't know why I had to stab her. I am so upset about it. I keep getting drunk every day, and I can't believe it's just like a big dream. I can't think of being locked up. If I get locked up, I'll kill myself. I'd rather kill myself than get locked up. I'll try not to kill anybody else.
Okay, pause it there,
Emergency.
because he calls back multiple
It's
times.
eerie listening to like recordings like that when you know like what he did.
Yeah, and I shouldn't. Yeah, like you said, he doesn't feel bad for himself. What do you call that? Not remorse, because he obviously did it. He's a bad guy and he kept doing it. But why?
Regrets.
Why would he call? Why? Maybe we should have brought this up to Chad. Why would he call the police on himself and do that? Like, what would get him to do that?
We might have, because I kind of remember forming an opinion or feeling like I think that the debate is like in your psyche, are you actually struggling with something, going back and forth, split personalities, bipolar, or if you're calling in your, you know, a lot of serial killers are doing it for attention, you know,
notoriety,
power over people. That it's odd, just in that very little clip, that he said he'd rather kill himself than be locked up. He doesn't want to hurt someone. Well, if he knows that that's the only way to hurt himself, what's the difference between being locked up or being free? You know?
Yeah,
Like,
yep. And it's hard to understand. So I was
yeah.
gonna try to find I found the call transcripts here because you cannot really hear what he's saying, because this is way back in the 80s. But let me see if I can find that first transcript. I like what you said there, though, Damon, about the dual, like, bipolar. Because, I mean, at one point, he obviously was a maniac, but then he's calling the police crying. Like, you could tell he's crying. Like, he's actually...
When they had him in prison, I'm sure he was evaluated.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they came out with anything. I mean, it has to be so tough to evaluate a serial killer when you're that... stuff going on in your mind like that. And
well, they caught him for 2 of them, but these other 2 that were unsolved. He caught a cancer in prison, and I don't know if you can catch a cancer, but he got cancer in prison. And when he found out that he didn't have a lot of time to live, he actually came forward and admitted to the other 2 because he wanted to give the families closure. Oh. So I don't know what you want to call that. But
I think the other word you're looking for is conscious.
Conscious, yeah. Does a serial killer have a conscience? Like, that's the argument? Maybe we did talk about that. I really can't remember. I'm trying to. I think it's right. Okay, make a phone call. Nope, that's this one. Okay, there's a girl. Let's see. There's a girl hurt her when 9/11 asked for his name. Stefani hung up. That's the Potak, was ambushed and bludgeoned with a tire iron. At approximately 3 a.m., the police received a phone call from a man who wanted to report the assault. The caller's voice filled with emotion as he told the police the location. He also told them where to find them. As he told the police the location of the crime scene, he said, "There's a girl hurt here. When the 911 operator asked for his name, Stefani hung up. Police and paramedics rushed to the scene, finding Potak clinging to life, even as her brain was exposed through her smashed skull. So she actually did survive. That's why I wrote that. She did survive.
Good. Yep, you took good notes.
I cannot believe that. And he actually waited until June to do the next killing, which is Kimberly Compton, an 18-year-old student from Wisconsin, and she was visiting friends, I'm pretty sure. This is in St. Paul. First one was in St. Paul. Stabbed with an ice pick 61 times.
61 times?
61 times.
Oh, usually,
so,
when you stab, usually
that's
you
a
hear
maniac.
when someone stabs that many times, it's like usually personal you hear, like when they do.
She probably did not survive that then.
No.
No. He go to the next phone
I
call.
wonder if he meant to leave the first one alive. Because if her brain was showing, that's pretty nuts.
That's great. Yeah, it's horrible.
What's
Here,
the next one?
Yeah, go to this is the next phone call.
Listen, I'm sorry I killed that girl. I stabbed her 40 times. Kimberly Compton was the first one. Over St. Paul. I don't know what's the matter with me. I'm sick. I'm going to kill myself, I think. Where are you? I'm just going to... If somebody dies with a red kid on, it's me. I killed both people. I'll never make it to heaven.
Calm down.
Okay, pause it. So I think that was actually the second killing. And I didn't hear this part. He said, "God damn it, will you find me? I just stabbed somebody with an ice pick. I can't stop myself. I keep killing somebody." So that really makes me think there's some bipolar, like he's got something in his head telling him to do it. And I don't want to give excuses, but he literally, I mean, when he says, "I can't stop myself, I keep killing somebody," like it's almost like he has this uncontrollable rage. And I don't know much about like disorders and stuff, but I don't know if they can actually force you.
Schizophrenic, bipolar.
Like force you to go do that to somebody. Like that'd be a question to talk to a doctor about, like if that's an actual thing, like that you'd be driven to go out and do stuff like that and then call the police immediately after. And maybe that's what makes this one so unique.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to 100% discount it because you never know what's going on in a human brain. Like,
yeah.
I just not to switch the subject, we'll get right back on this, but check out something on the Erickson twins. It was two women who were sisters, twins, and they were traveling, and they met in, I believe it was London, and they weren't ever around each other. And they say they had this thing where when they're together, they just went like psycho, like schizophrenia, like
really
psychotic episodes. And I won't give it away. Well, they were walking down a street, and they just started jumping into traffic.
What?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole thing about. I mean, it's kind of online with like what's going on in people's brains, and it is one of the oddest.
Is there video footage and stuff? Or
I did personally not watch it, but there is.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they get killed.
No, they do not.
Really?
They went right into oncoming traffic of a truck and another truck. Then one ran away, jumped a bridge. Then for some reason they didn't. They let her go after a while, and then it gets even worse.
It gets worse?
It gets worse. And
this could be a podcast topic right here. This is crazy. Where was this at?
I think it was London.
Oh, London. Okay.
One of them, I think,
overseas.
is in the United States now, and they're probably they're European to begin with. So that's
wow. Yeah. That's interesting. I thought you were about to bring up the Martinez twins. Have you remember though the two rich twins that killed their parents? Oh, Mendez.
Oh yeah,
Mendez.
I remember that.
Eric and maybe I already slaughtered their last name. I'll probably slaughter their first names. You're right. The Mendez twins. That's an interesting one too, where the two twins killed their parents. And
I remember clips of that one, and that one to me, they didn't seem like they had. Seemed much remorse. It was all and
they
just
were
doing
like
it for money and
the devil eyes, like weird stuff. So Kimberly Compton no, that's all right. I like other things to look up.
That's a straight case of probably psychosis. Like
that'd be an interesting one to look into.
Stuff to get like, and it's very rare, but it's when two people get together and they say it affects them.
Are they actually twins?
Yeah.
Oh, so they just when they're together, like when because they were older then, I'm assuming.
They're older, and they drug screened them too after the accident. They weren't on drugs or anything. Like
really,
they were on Flocka.
Really, that be a reason. You never know. And I wonder, I don't know how much they look into this, but like if this guy was on any kind of drugs as well, maybe he was off of his medication and like.
Serial killers are so tough to pin down because
it is
because it's such the opposite of the norm.
Yeah, you're looking into the mind of something that we'll never you don't see very often. A monster.
Right.
Yeah, which is tough to like we said, pin down and figure out. So Kimberly Compton was the second one, 18-year-old, stabbed with the ice pick. June 6th, he called newspaper. So now he's not just calling the police, but he's actually calling newspaper to say accounts of the he called the newspaper to say accounts the murders were inaccurate. Oh,
that shows me that he's following along, clipping stuff out.
Yep.
Wants him to get it right, and he
Yep.
cares more about that than putting on this show.
They got the murder wrong, so he called the newspaper. I wonder if that's in this article here. The police received another phone call from the killer. He said he hadn't meant to kill Compton and would turn himself in, but he never did. Instead, he called the police again days later to apologize for not surrendering. He said, "I'll try not to kill anyone else. I couldn't help it. I don't know why I stabbed her. I'm so upset about it."
I'd go as maybe I'll say as far as say he's doing a weepy voice too, so you can't understand his voice. Like you you can't get him on voice recognition.
And I don't know what kind of technology they had back then.
I'm jumping all over the place, but sometime I want to talk about that Max Headroom.
Headroom, yeah, that'd be a good one too. Yeah,
you show me that, and I looked into that more too, and that is when they took over the airwaves.
Yep, and we got to get the guy.
Oh
I'm still in contact with the guy, the doctor who helped the FBI stop a bunch of TV hijackings.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
or not stop, but convict people.
We're not going to go into it, but WGN they cut into their broadcast, jamming a tower for like 60, 90 seconds, and then they figured out what was going 30 seconds. I almost less, and then they jumped into a Doctor Who 2 hours later, and just the straight. Did you watch that, Colin?
No, I haven't.
Oh my
I
gosh,
showed him the whole
you
thing.
You can't unsee it. It's just like I have my own. I listen to it. And
it's weird,
and they never caught the guy.
That's the weirdest part. They think they might know who it is. No, I'm throwing stuff, but I don't think it was the guy that they think it is. There's all these conspiracy theories about it.
Yeah.
That's
so
for another
interesting.
Episode, yeah, it is.
You can't unsee that footage.
There's so much interesting stuff going on. We don't have time to.
So did they catch this guy? Did they catch the? I mean, they caught him, but how did they get him?
So here's how they got the guy. Play the final phone call. I think there's one more on here, Colin. Let's see.
Finally, I just stabbed somebody with a knife stick. I can't stop myself. I keep killing somebody.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yes, please. This is an emergency. Please send a squad to Pierce Butler Road, Molenbeek Manufacturing Company, machine shop. Please, there's an ambulance too. There's a girl hurt there.
Can you tell me what happened to her?
Just hurry. She's laying on the ground in the back by the railroad tracks, by the edge here. Hurry.
What's the address?
I don't know.
Who are you?
Those are creepy phone calls,
Yeah,
super creepy. Kathleen, he called again on June 11th. I'm sorry for what I did to Compton. And then there's two more, the final ones when he got caught. But Kathleen Greening found dead at her home in St. Paul. This is the one that he confessed to in prison because he actually drowned her in her bathtub at her Roseville. So this is in Roseville, Minnesota residence. And then Barbara Simons, this is another one. So he killed more than I thought. Met at a bar. That's how he'd do it. He'd meet these girls at bars, and then he'd offer them a ride home, and then he'd just bring them to where he wanted to kill them and then kill them. Barbara Simons met at a bar. She was found along the banks of the Mississippi River. How he got caught was he picked up a 19-year-old sex worker. He stabbed her 15 times with a screwdriver. She hit him with a bottle, cut him badly, screamed. A nearby guy helped identify him. And so he had to call for an ambulance, and his voice was recognized. So literally, this Paul, was that his name again? I'm totally about. Paul. The guy got hit in the head with a bottle by the girl, and he was bleeding so bad he had to call an ambulance. And on the ambulance voice, they recognized him because it was on the news.
Oh.
They recognized the voice, so maybe he does talk like that. And then, so then they turned that into the police, and he got.
He's probably crying because he.
Yeah.
So I was like.
58 years in prison for that, and he actually died in prison. So, and he went for 2 murders, and then when he was in prison, he confessed to the other 2.
Something stands out odd there too is it's premeditated. He knows what he's going to do, and he had a screwdriver with him, and not that's nothing to try to figure out.
Screwdriver, ice pick,
unless it was in his house and he grabbed something,
and then drowning. Like a lot of either gunshots or whatever. But there's actually a picture on there, Colin, of the guy. If you go back to the folder there, no, not that one. There's a different one. Yeah, if you want to see what he looks like. There he is right there. And there's some of the crime scenes if you zoom in, Colin. Well, they're not too graphic. They're just people laying. Nothing too bad. We've seen worse on the podcast. That's the guy right there. He's got the mustache.
You say creepy, but that's why you have to be careful when you're out, because if you saw him in a bar,
regular guy.
Back in the 80s, everyone
Like
had
Ted Bundy.
mustaches.
Ted Bundy, all
People
the
still have
girls.
mustaches.
Yeah. Easy with the mustache jokes.
Yeah.
I'm not a serial killer. So yeah, I mean, it's one of these.
That's what the Weepy-Voiced Killer said too.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Like Damon said, you could look like a regular guy, but you never know. You know, be careful out there. And like Ted
Could
Bundy,
have his own podcast.
Sad.
easy now with the mustache jokes. So we have some.
The ladies like it. You said
They do. The
like
ladies
Yeah.
love the mustache, so it's working.
Yeah, Julie loves it.
Spend a little time on the mustache in the episode here.
Yep. So, but the whole thing about this, we have some cool stories. Not this isn't cool, but it's
Yeah, rephrase.
interesting stuff.
Yeah.
To talk about from Minnesota.
Unexplainable.
Unexplainable, yeah. And we have a couple more cool. I keep going with cool. The other ones are cool. This one's not cool.
Bizarre, interesting,
interesting.
unexplained.
We have some cool, like the Wilder Demon thing. We have a pop thing that we're gonna bring up
Yeah.
here in the upcoming
We're gonna
weeks.
go hunting for some cans.
Hunting for some cans, yeah. Some interesting stuff. So we want to get these Minnesota local
Anytime
stories.
you can find something that you can Google it and nothing shows up on it, you know you have to look into
The
it.
mystery's on.
The mystery's on.
Yep.
Mysterious Minnesota, new Ethan Claire podcast series.
New podcast series. So
Shout out to Gitas. Sorry.
Gitas,
We
we
don't
gotta
know.
get
We won't
into
go
that
into
one,
that. We won't get into that one.
so
That was like a couple years old too.
is it? Yeah. Dang. Well, I hope you guys like this little
Is that
interesting
it? We got
throwback.
more?
That
That's
is
all?
it. Yeah, we've went over 5 minutes here. So
man,
wow, doesn't that fly by?
Yeah, it flies by.
So make sure you tune into Fuzz Talk Radio tomorrow night. Make sure you give the podcast a review, like it, share it, get it to your friends.
Yep. And I'm
Come rent this room.
Come rent this room.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, too, if you have something that you're looking up on Google and you can't find,
Yep.
reach out to us. Possibly we'll find it interesting and maybe we can get down to it.
Yep. And we always appreciate comments from like Jeff and everyone else who's
Yeah.
commenting on the podcast.
We'll get you that shirt.
Yeah, we need to do that for sure. We'll take care of that tonight. We always appreciate topic ideas and people sharing it, liking it, getting it out there to everybody, all their friends. So
There's a screen in this room.
yeah, we could use that maybe in the future.
We could.
So we can
Get the projector.
show Munchie 2.
Yeah. Munchie 1. We saw
Munchie 1,
2.
yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
we did. Yeah.
So Damon Collin, thank you guys so much for
Thank
coming
you,
tonight.
Ethan.
Thank you to the fans. Thank you to listeners. Thank
You're
you to
driving
the
home
viewers.
tonight, right?
I'm driving,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Colin's a tired little guy here. But really appreciate everyone tuning in. Watch out for the coronavirus. Watch out for the influenza B. They're going around. Take your meds, like Damon said. Drink some vitamin C.
Fluids and rest.
Yeah, fluids and rest.
Don't
so-
pick your nose and don't go in public and cough on people if you're sick.
Yep. That's good advice there. So make
Watch
sure.
out for guys with mustaches at bars.
Yeah.
Especially if their nose is running.
That is how we're going to end this podcast. So thank you very much. This is the Ethan Claire Podcast Show.
Oh,
Agreed.
I'll put it up against another.
And then
Yeah, I remember.
It's not even the shape.
Mentally ill. Mentally
A special effects agency.